So my name is Maximiliano. You can call me Max, that's okay. This is going to be breaking the limits on the web. First, let me quickly go through my history. So I'm a mobile web developer. I have been doing web development for 22 years. So PHP probably around 16 years. Also mobile apps. So I'm also a mobile developer. I'm from Argentina, but I'm basically based on a plane. So I've been to 57 countries so far doing trainings and conferences. I've been doing trainings at different companies besides open trainings all over the world. So I have authored a couple of books. Okay, here we have some slides. So these are my original books, and these are translations. Okay, Korean, Russian, Chinese. There are a couple of Chinese, not just one Chinese there. So the latest books are Programming the Mobile Web and High Performance Mobile Web. In fact, that's the last one, okay? Talking about performance on the mobile web. So I will show you during the talk, okay, a couple of, we're going to see some code in terms of JavaScript, basically. And you have all the links on the test if you want to try that later or during the talk on that URL. I will tweet this later. I'm Fert on Twitter. And I will tweet the slides and also all the test suite, okay? So questions, yes, please. I will try to keep some time at the end. I'm not sure if that will happen. If it doesn't happen, okay, I will be here today and tomorrow, so you can just catch me at any time. We can discuss something. So let's start. And we're going to see today three main things. I'm going to quickly go through Precip Web Apps. Then we will jump into new web APIs that we have available today that are currently like breaking the limits, or the limits that we usually know. And also we are going to talk about new realities, okay? So we will get into that thing later at the end. So starting with Precip Web Apps. How many of you are currently developing Precip Web Apps? Let's see. One only, okay. Are you happy about that? Let's see that. Kind of. Yeah, you don't see him, but kind of. So let's first try to understand what a PWA or a Precip Web App is. So first, it's an open definition. So meaning that it's not clear what it is. Okay. In fact, most of you are currently developing Precip Web Apps and you don't know about that. Okay. So if you're currently doing websites and you're using, or web apps, it's kind of difficult to find the limit there, and you're using some of the new APIs, you're probably using Precip Web Apps, okay? So it's an open definition. It was originally embraced by Google, the term, not the idea. In fact, the idea has started like 20 years ago with Microsoft, with something called Microsoft HTAs, HTML applications. Then it was even followed by Steve Jobs 10 years ago. So yesterday we were having the iPhone 10th birthday. And on that year, so 10 years ago, Steve Jobs presented a way to create apps for a mobile device using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, at the time known as Web 2.0 and Ajax. But it was basically the same idea as Precip Web Apps. Different names, but the same concept. Now it's embraced by Firefox, Opera, Samsung, and Microsoft. And you can see Apple is not there yet. However, these apps will work on Apple anyway. So a Precip Web App is basically a way to create app-like experiences, wherever that means, okay? Using web technologies, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, server-side technologies as well, PHP, progressively. And the idea here is to use a concept or a design pattern known as progressive enhancement. That the whole idea is we are going to start with a very basic website that's HTML, that can be probably rendered by PHP or any other framework or server-side platform. And we're going to add layers on top of that. Okay, so that's the whole idea. And if one platform is not supporting one of those layers, the rest will work anyway. It's not like we are developing an app that will work only on Chrome and Android. And if you don't have Chrome and Android, then your app is not compatible with any other phone. So that's not the idea. The idea is that it will work everywhere, at least as a website. Okay, that's the idea of progressive enhancement. So A Precip Web App, then it's a website. Then we have the ability to add native installations. So for those of you that were in my Precip Web App training yesterday, we saw there how to do that using a standard known as Web App Manifest. Then you can add web push notifications, so you can send messages to the user. Even if the user is not using the browser at all, you can send messages to user's device, like any push notification you are receiving right now in your phone. And you can add hardware and platform access. We will probably talk a lot about that, okay, during the rest half an hour. So today, compatibility is Chrome, Opera, the last one. Do you know that one? In fact, that's your logo. I should update the logo. They have a new one now. That's a Samsung Internet browser. Okay, that's a browser that you have. If you have a Galaxy device, okay, you have an icon with the name Internet. Well, that's that browser. It's Chromium-based, so it's similar to Chrome, but it's not really Chrome. It has its own unique abilities, APIs, bugs, okay, and performance issues. So you should try your website there. Currently, between 6 and 8% of the mobile web browsing is being made through that browser. So it's not 50%, but it's a good amount of, it's a couple of million users out there using that browser. So on Edge, they're going to work in the near future, okay, Precip Web Apps. And what happens with Safari, that is kind of with the transparency there, it's not there right now, but they will work anyway as a website. And you can also do some things. You can install the app. There are things you can do there, okay? So let me do a quick demo if you have never seen this before. So it will be really quick. So I have here an Android phone, okay? You're going to see my screen in just a minute or a second. And so this is a Pixel device that I have here, okay, in my hand. And there we are. By the way, that's the new, oops. That's not good, okay. Let's reconnect this. That's the icon of sadness. No, okay, let's go again. No devices, okay. That's why you shouldn't be doing live demos during talks. Okay, one more try. You can do this. Okay, there we are. So that's the new logo of the internet browser, okay? So first I want to show you this. Here I have a lot of Twitter mentions, okay? So if you pay attention, this notification is not coming from a native app. It's coming from a PWA, from a website. Okay, you can see it says mobile.twitter.com. And it appears as any other notification in the Android system. Okay, exactly the same. So let me show you Flipkart. It was like the first PWA, the important PWA out there. Flipkart is an Indian company. For e-commerce, it's the most important Indian company. Oh, they have an update. Cool. So, so as you can see here, it's a website, right? I'm inside Chrome. I have a URL bar. So it's Chrome. But I can install this. I can add this to my home screen. And when I do that, now I have an icon on the home screen with another 1,000 icons, okay, of the same website or web app. Now, if I open this, you might be thinking, hey, that's a shortcut to the website. Well, kind of. If I open this now, so now you can see it's in full screen mode. It's not inside Chrome. Okay, it looks like an app. And from an OS point of view, it looks like an app. It's not really running inside Chrome from a user's point of view. Okay? So that's technically a Precip Web App. There are other things to talk about that, okay, but that's the whole idea, right? And so later we'll see if we have questions. So you probably will have some questions. So basically a Precip Web App then is HTML5, so it's basically any website. Okay, again, it can be served through PHP. It's not a problem. We are going to use a spec known as service workers that will let us our web app to work offline. So I didn't show you this. I should. It's really quick. So if I turn on the Wi-Fi mode, it turn off the Wi-Fi. So for example, airplane mode, you can see that now the app is in grayscale. That's CSS. So the app is capable of working offline as well. Of course, It's limited based on what you're doing, right? So you can pre-cache stuff there, but the app is recognizing that now you're offline. And if I'm going online again, at one point, it will come back. First, you need to connect to the Wi-Fi. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so it has that ability. So it can work offline as a native app. And the magic is happening because of service workers. So then we have Web App Manifest. That's another API that we use here for installation, and web push notifications, as the Twitter mentions that you saw before. Okay? And optionally, you can use the hardware APIs that we're going to use right now. We're going to see right now. Okay? Before doing that, let me quickly introduce you something known as the physical web. So the physical web is an open approach to create quick and seamless interactions with physical objects and locations. In English, that means it's a Bluetooth beacon like this one that is basically streaming or broadcasting URLs. So if you have a URL, probably you have, and that URL has to do with some physical location, a conference, a bus station, or something like that, you can stream the URL of the website or your Precip web app through one of these little guys. That's a new spec. Okay, it's open. Here you have some quick demos. I don't want to spend too much time here. In fact, the demo is not appearing. That's a video that is not playing. Okay, cool. Oh, cool. Today is my day, right? Yeah. Excellent. You shouldn't be doing this then. Okay, so let's try again. So the next video then. No? You're not going to play? Okay, anyway. Yep, it's not my day. Cool. So these were just a quick demo, so you can see, for example, in one case, when you are trying to pay for the park, you want to pay on the parkimeter. So let me see if it's working here. No, there is a problem with the video probably. And you can just be near that machine, and you will receive the URL. Okay, that's the idea. Then you can pay directly on your phone without installing any app. This is currently working on Chrome on Android, Chrome on iOS. So if you have Chrome on iOS, it's also working there, and Samsung Internet Browser. Okay, so if you have any of these browsers, you can try. Even you can try with my beacon. So right now, this beacon is streaming a URL right now over your heads. Okay, so and we will probably see this a lot in the future, like machines or IoT devices. Okay, streaming URLs of websites or web apps, and you will when you are near one of these devices, you will see an interface like this on your phone, that there are some URLs nearby, and then you can open those URLs directly. Okay? So with Precip Web Apps, we have like the best of the native and the web world. We can serve app-like experiences, you can use push messages, and we can stream URLs if we have the physical web. So that's the first thing I have to show you in terms of breaking the limits of the web. So because it's a whole new era of the web, if you think about that. Now let's talk about new web APIs that will also let us do a lot of things that weren't possible before. And before, it's just probably a year ago. So here we're going to talk about how to connect with device hardware, okay? Mostly useful on mobile devices, how to use sensors. And there are different levels here. Mature APIs, so APIs that you can use safely on every browser. Experimental APIs, that is kind of, you should try, but don't rely on that so much. And future APIs, that means they're not there yet. Or you need to enable a flag, I mean, as a developer, if you want to try it. So it's not there yet, it's coming probably in a year. So let's go quickly through some of these APIs. First, I'm not going to spend too much time here in APIs that are well known. For example, the geolocation API. Okay, that's pretty well known. You can find a lot of code out there about it. You can get users' location based on GPS or Wi-Fi. The accelerometer, magnetometer, and even gyroscope APIs are also well known in the community. You can find information about that, so you can basically detect how the user is holding the device, like this, they are pointing that way, that way. The compass, the camera to take still pictures, and the camera to get the streaming, the live streaming of the camera. There is a start there because that will be mature in a couple of months when iOS 11 starts supporting it. So it's not there yet on iOS, so that's why it wasn't mature in my last presentation. let's say that it's going to be mature now when iOS 11 appears in the market. Okay, so you can get the live streaming, and we will get into the camera later. So in terms of experimental APIs, we have ambient light, speech recognition and synthesis, Web MIDI. Okay, so let's start with Web MIDI. Have you heard about MIDI? It's not new, right? But it will let us connect to music devices. And sometimes it's not about music devices. It can also be lighting systems. So usually systems like the lights here in this room, like there is a room there to manage these lights, can be a MIDI interface. So we can connect through USB to our computer and use JavaScript to talk to that device and manage the current lighting systems here in the room. Okay, that's pretty cool. So you can send and receive MIDI messages, and it looks like this. Okay, so you request MIDI access, and then you have a callback, and you get values, and you send values. Okay, you have MIDI. You are receiving messages from the device. Of course, you need probably the manual of the device to understand how that device works. But you can start using this today on Chrome and Opera, on desktop, because you need a USB interface at least. Okay, so that's already available. Okay, that's something that you can use today. Ambient lighting API is pretty simple. It will let you get info about current light conditions. Okay, it measures the information in luxes. That's a unit that you need to understand. But basically, it's pretty simple. It's a device light event that it will let you know if, for example, if it's in dark room, okay, if it's daylight or not, and you can, for example, change your CSS based on that. So you can improve readability thanks to these APIs. Okay, that's already there on Firefox, and it was announced for the next version of Edge, and today in Chrome it's under flag. So it's experimental. Okay, it's kind of experimental. Speech synthesis and recognition. It let us interact with the user using our voice. Okay, so synthesis let the web speak, and recognition, it lets the web listen for the user. So, for example, to speak, you just create a new object, you set a couple of properties, and you say, speak. Okay, and it works. If you want to recognize speech, you create a new speech recognition, you set a couple of properties, you have a result event, and you're going to get the confidence and the text. And let me show you this in action. So synthesis is available Chrome, Safari, including iOS, okay, Opera, and it will be in Edge in the future. And recognition is more experimental. It's Chrome only and Opera. Opera because it's Chromium. So let me show you this in action. So in the URL that I gave you before, okay, you have a lot of tests that you can try later of every API. This is open source. And for example, I have here a speech synthesis. So I can say hello. Okay.
Hello Dutch PHP conference. I'm talking from the website.
And you can select different voices. Okay, the voice, it depends on the browser. So we have Samantha.
Hello Dutch PHP conference. I'm talking from a website.
And you can also change the language. Okay? So there is an Argentinian one, by the way. Though that's synthesis. Okay, you can try this on iOS as well. And for recognition, okay, so recognition will work because it's using a microphone. Will work only on HTTPS, and I'm not seeing this being loaded in HTTPS. So the Microsoft can only be accessed on HTTPS for a security reason. So let's see if this is working. So you can see the text is coming, and also it's giving me a percentage of confidence, okay, about what I'm saying. I can also try this in Spanish. Let's say, Hola Amsterdam. Okay, that's Spanish. Well, it's not too confident about what I said, but that's what I said anyway. Because I think I said Amsterdam in English, not in Spanish. That's why. Anyway, so you have that in action, so it's working, right? You can see the code there. Pretty simple, and you can try it. Okay, it's something that you can do today on the web, on desktop and also on mobile devices. In terms of future APIs, we have Web USB, okay, Web NFC. And the idea is that with Web USB, will let us connect USB hardware connected to the device. That's for desktop, basically. And it will let us talk to that device. There is a big, let's say, warning here. That API works only for the manufacturer of that hardware. Okay, for security reasons, because you don't want to get into a website that is reading to your USB devices without your knowledge. Or even if it's giving you permission. So that means that if you are buying a hardware, wherever, I mean that device, okay, and it has a USB connection, then instead of creating a native app to communicate, to update the firmware, to set up the device, it can just be a website, okay? And there is a signature going on there so Chrome, in this case it's a Chrome API, and it's working on Chrome only right now, it will connect to that device only, so the website of that device only, okay? And it will be available on Chrome 61. Today we are in Chrome 60 in terms of the versions, okay, that you can download at least, so it will be in the next version. Web NFC, near field communication, it will let you access to tap to pay, tap to share, okay, when you have, for example, an RFID tag. And that's it's still in development, so we don't know exactly when it's going to appear in the market. Web audio, it's not new. It's an API that has been in the web for a couple of years now. But I want to show you how we can use web audio to do something interesting, not just to create audio or listen to audio. Those are the two things that you can do with the API. So we can generate dynamic audio, and that means we can even listen to low-level audio. For example, we can communicate to devices using ultrasound. So and I have a video that I'm not sure if it's going to work, but let's see. So SonicNet is one open source library to do this. So you create a new Sonic socket, you send a message. On the other side, you have a Sonic server, and you listen for that message. Okay, so it's like sockets. But instead of using a network, it's going to use the air, okay, sending sound from one device to the other device. Cross your fingers. No, it's not working. Okay, so that's an issue because I have a couple of videos. Yep. So I can try quickly one thing only, like restarting Keynote. I'm not going to restart my computer, but it's funny because this is the first time happening to me. I cannot see the video. So let me stop Keynote, try again quickly. And that's my last try. So this is DPC. So we are here. Let's see. Yep. So you can see two devices, a mobile phone and a desktop. We are sending data. And we can even go ultrasonic. Of course, you need to get out. You need to get all your pets out of the room. That API is available everywhere, okay, on every device, even iOS. So it's something interesting that you can do today with the web, okay? So you can really break the limits of the known world, okay, doing that. And then we have Web Bluetooth, okay? That is also a big door to new opportunities for the web. So we can scan Bluetooth low-energy devices around us, and most of the Bluetooth devices out there today are Bluetooth low energy, so Bluetooth 4.0. You can scan the services available on that device. You can connect to those services, and of course, send and receive data. This is a kind of a low-level API from a web point of view because you need to talk, you need to send bytes and receive bytes, okay, to and from the device. But it's pretty cool things that you can do. So it's a huge deal for IoT, Internet of Things. Because now if you buy a gadget that is smart something, okay, your smart toilet, wherever, today if you want to talk to your toilet, okay, you need to download a native app. After a while, you have hundreds of apps for talking to your devices. It can be web apps or Precip Web Apps or websites, okay? And if you mix that with the physical web, okay, you have a deal. because now that device can be streaming URLs. So this is the code just quickly. So it's full of promises. So you request device with one service. So you filter, you make a search around you. So let's find heart rates. Then you connect to that device, you get the service, you get something called a characteristic that is like a sub-service, and you receive messages, okay? Something like that. So that's how the code looks like. And of course, with ES6, it looks better. There are a couple of, you have the links on the URL. There are a couple of demos. You can connect to heart rates. You can control BB8, for example. You can control drones using just a website. Okay? You can talk to any Bluetooth device around you. So this is only on Chrome today under a flag. So it's going to be in the final version also pretty soon. But there are a lot of security things going on, so that's why they're still not releasing that yet. But it works on Android and desktop as well. And before talking about new realities, I have here WebShare. This is pretty simple. But remember that we saw the PWA, the Precip Web App? That Precip Web App, after I installed it and I opened that from the icon, it was in full screen mode. Remember that? So what happens if I want to share something on Facebook or Twitter from that place? So when you are in the browser, you are used to share the URL, both using the share icon on the browser or just copy and pasting the URL. But when you are in full screen mode, you don't have a browser's UI. There is no way to share. And you are using JavaScript, not native code. So how can we share content if we are in full screen mode? Well, that's why we have a WebShare. It's a new API. It's under an experiment on Chrome and Android. And it's going to be also in Chrome 61, I think. So the idea is that you will click on a share button on your website that you design with CSS. It will open the native share dialog of the operating system. Okay? The API is really pretty simple. You say navigator.share, you send a JSON with properties, like the title, the URL that you want to share, and that's pretty much everything. So from an API point of view, it's simple. Okay? So it will be available on Chrome 61. So in a couple of months. Okay? It will be available for all the Android users at least. So then you will be able to share content from full screen mode. And there is another proposal that doesn't have also a time span yet, that instead of sharing, to be the target of a share operation. So what if a website can receive shares from other websites or even native content? So I have a website, I want to participate in that share dialog. Okay? So then anyone can share with my website, and I will receive the data that the user is sharing from another website or from another app. Okay, so that's a proposal today. And finally, before talking about realities, we have web payments. That's also, this is not experimental, this is working right now. So it's currently on Android and iOS. iOS has a star because iOS has its own proprietary API. So basically, the deal is that on the mobile web, or even Precip Web App, checkouts are impossible. Okay, so I'm not sure if you have tried to do a checkout on a mobile device, but you need to type a lot. You don't want to type a lot, so finally you don't check out, you don't finish the process on your mobile device. So that's why browsers have released things like the Payment Request API and the Apple Page.js API. Okay? So with the Payment Request API, first, the browser is not going to charge the user for you. It's basically in the middle between you, a web developer or a website owner, and an authenticator provider, okay, that you need to hire usually, okay? So you are the merchant, you have the user, and the payment processor. That's the authenticator. So today it works with credit cards. So for example, an authenticator can be PayPal or other checkout provider. Android Pay will be available in the near future, and it requires HTTPS, as most APIs today. You should be moving to HTTPS. So basically, you call the API, the browser will show a native dialog it will connect to the app that the user is selecting. So you can say, I want to pay on this website. Then the browser will show you, OK, you can pay with PayPal, with your credit card. The user selects that on a native dialog, OK? And the user doesn't need to type anything. It goes directly to the native app that you have on that phone. And the information is encrypted, and it's sent you back to your JavaScript code that goes to your merchant. So that's roughly the process, OK? So it makes a quick solution, right? Because it looks like this. So you click on your website, and you just pay. Okay, you don't need to type the credit card because you already have that information on your phone. Usually, right now, if you want to use it, you need to add one script, and that's all. You can use it. And Apple has its own API. Okay, it's proprietary, and we need a developer account. That means you need to pay $99 US. I'm not sure in euros how much is it right now, at least per year. Okay, to use Apple Pay on your website, and you need HTTPS also. Of course, comply with Apple Pay guidelines. You cannot sell wherever you want. There is a list of approved things that you can sell. I thought I have a diagram. I don't see a diagram. But basically, the diagram is similar to the previous one. Okay, so Apple Pay, the difference is that in this case, it works on Safari on the Mac, and it works on iOS. On iOS, you put your finger on the phone, okay, to accept the payment. And on the Mac, if you have one of the new Macs with a touch bar, then you're going to put your finger on the Mac. If you don't have that one, like in my case, I have a MacBook Air, it uses your watch or your phone to authenticate you. So Safari on the Mac is asking you to go to your phone or to your watch and accept the transaction. Okay? So it's really a smooth experience. Okay, so that's something that you can do also today on the web. And now we have reached the part where I'm going to talk about new realities on the web. That is even breaking more limits on the web, because the web has always been living inside the box. From that thing, okay, that's how I browsed the web for the first time, okay, 1995, text mode, to this, okay, going back to IE, a mobile device, even the iPhone 10 years ago. It's always inside the box. So it's time to free the web from that box and do something more interesting. We have new realities here. I'm talking about virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. Okay? So now we are going to see what we can do today and what we are going to do in the near future to do things for these realities on the web. So probably you're thinking, but we are web developers, and usually this hasn't to do with the web. Well, let me tell you this. It has a lot to do with the web, because most AR or VR experiences today are native apps. But those experiences, most of the time, are temporal experience. So it's something that you experience once, and that's all. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about seeing a 360 video or a 360 picture, or I don't know, it's an experience. Let's see how the new Tesla car looks like from the inside. Okay, that's something that you want to try once. That's all. It's like a website. So I want to get into that experience, and that's all. I don't want to install an app for that and then remember to uninstall it because it's using space in my device. So it has to do with the web. So in terms of experiences here, you can your current content that you are creating for the web, it's flat in a 3D environment. And it works today in a VR world mode. I will show you one quick example later. Also, you can create 3D worlds. That means that you're going to create one experience per eye, so it's going to be 3D, like a 3D cinema. Okay. 360, still or animated content, pictures or video. Okay. And you can also create augmented reality experiences. So I will show you how they look like today on the web. But just think that this is just the beginning, okay, of the web in this new reality. So probably it's going to get better with time. So today we have a lot of phone-based platforms for VR. Okay, that means that Google Cardboard, okay, that you can use with any phone, including iPhone, the Galaxy Gear VR, DayDream, remember this is a DayDream view, okay, where you put an Android phone here, okay, have a pointer, clicker, so I can point and click in the VR world, okay, so this is one device, for example, this is a DayDream device. Then you have desktop-based platforms, where you don't need a phone, okay. You have here the Oculus Rift, PS4, HTC Vive, okay, and now the Windows Mixed Reality kits. So for all of these solutions, you can do web content, okay? And finally, we have standalone platforms that for now, at least, we have only the HoloLens. It's completely standalone. You don't need a phone, you don't need a computer. That's the computer. The headset is the computer. So, but again, we are web developers. So how the web user experience looks like? Well, first we have a couple of browsers today compatible with VR, starting with Samsung Internet for the Oculus Gear, Google Chrome. Google Chrome has some features today and some features that will appear in the near future. It was announced in the last Google I/O just 1 month ago. So Google Chrome, we have a VR version. So you will put this headset, and then with Chrome, you can browse even the normal 2D web. Okay, it sounds retro, right? 2D web. So the old 2D web in a 3D environment. So Chrome will have that. Edge is also supporting VR today for the mixed reality kits, and there are a lot of third-party browsers out there. So as I mentioned before, I'm traveling a lot, so I have a couple of videos of different places on the world, different conferences. So here you have an example of how you browse the web on the Samsung Internet on the Gear VR. So here I have a headset, okay? So you move your head, you gaze with your head, you point with your head, and you open, for example, a URL. So you can type a URL. I'm not sure which one was that. NDC Oslo, yeah. So it was this month. So you can scroll, okay, in this case with a headset. And that's a 2D website, right, that you are seeing like in a cinema. And if you have a video or something at one point, I think I played the video, yeah. It goes then in cinema mode. So now you are seeing a video. And if that video is in 360 or 3D, you can change the mode and then get immersed into that experience. And that's an HTML5 video tag, okay, nothing more than that. So Oculus has a browser. Facebook is creating a browser for VR. Right now it's experimental. It's called Carmel. This is how it looks like today. Today, even you cannot browse any website. You can just browse some examples they have there. This is WebVR. So you have a couple of examples. So that's JavaScript. That's HTML. That's a web browser, okay, running there in 3D 360 mode. And for that, they're using React. They have a React VR version right now. React VR is a React version that will let you create VR experiences. So then we have, as I mentioned, in preview mode, Chrome VR on Android, okay, that look like this. It's pretty, so you are inside normal Chrome, and then you get into VR mode. So it's asking me to put the phone into this headset, and then when you do that, it will get into the VR experience. It will, come on, there. And in that case, with the pointer, okay, you need to synchronize your pointer, and when you're done, then you are browsing that website in VR mode. That's very experimental. That's why everything is white around you. But you can see the URL bar is at the bottom, not at the top. It's a different UI. If you have iOS and a cardboard, or also Android, but you can also do things like this, right? You are in a 360 picture that you can move with your accelerometer. So probably you have seen this in Facebook, right? Like looking at 360 images. But you can get into VR mode, full screen. And if you have a cardboard, like a headset, then you can put your phone there and then get that experience. So that you can do that today. And finally, on the HoloLens, it looks like this. Okay, so you open, that's holograms around you. Okay, so you add windows like this, Edge. This is not my day. Oops. So in that case, there we are. Nope. So that's Edge. That's the only browser available there. And you can type URLs, okay? That's a floating keyboard. And that's a 2D. It's like a frame, okay, hanging there in the air. So, and you put the website wherever you want, right? It recognizes your room, like there. And you can resize the browser. That's a 2D content. That's any website that you have today is running there, okay? The challenge is that because here we are talking about hologram, that's how you scroll the website. Yeah, I think that's me. Yeah, that's my picture there. So you can also do Netflix. And I think in this video, we are running out of time, so let me see if I can go to that part. Yeah, so that's the door to the bathroom, okay? So if I'm going to my bathroom, so you can even see the website from the other side. So that's pretty cool. But then, well, you can create new tabs, and every tab can be a different window that is floating around you, okay? So you can do this, like you can have Netflix, and then go to the bathroom and leave Netflix there somewhere, okay? And it remembers your rooms, so it remembers on which part of your house you have each window, okay? So it's a new total experience to browse the web, okay? So that's the HoloLens. And for that, we have a couple of APIs. We have a WebVR API, okay, that will let us communicate with these devices, so you can know exactly if the device is on and where is the device pointing to, so you can adjust the UI. It can also let you work with pointers. You have the gamepad API, so you can connect with joysticks and gamepads, and you can use Bluetooth and other APIs to make it work, okay? So I have here a couple of examples of code for this, but I will jump to something more interesting. So you can see that later. Anyway, it's just JavaScript, so nothing interesting. So for the last 3 minutes I have augmented reality, okay? Now you probably have seen this, the camera as a platform. So now every big company is offering you solutions for the camera, right? Big effects and something like that. Well, even like new Google glasses we have now, like La Forge, so they have glasses like those that with augmented reality there. So for that, we have new APIs. Well, the all get user media that will let you get the raw camera that will work on iOS 11, okay? So you can get the streaming of the camera, so I can do something like this and put the camera here, and then I can use CSS or JavaScript to put things on top of that, okay? But what we have now, that's on Chrome, experimental API, shape detection API. So you have face detection, so you can detect faces and landmarks. Where are landmarks? Where is the eye? So the coordinates of the eye, okay, the mouth of that face. You have a text recognition, a text detector, barcode detector, and you can run this live over the streaming. So you can make detection directly in JavaScript of faces, text, and barcode. And this API will get more shapes in the future with machine learning and that sort of things, okay? That's only in Chrome under a flag. It's called the Accelerated Shape Detection API. And there is a Web AR proposal on top of WebVR for spatial search. So let me show you a quick example, and that will be the last thing I will show you. So it's a proposal that was proposed by Google in the last Google I/O, and this is example. That's a browser. Okay, it's using the camera to search over the current room, and you can put, for example, a 3D model over the room. Okay, like that. And probably you have seen some videos of iOS 11 also doing something like this, but this is a web. This is a website. Okay, so you will get all the information about the current space, the floor, and the roof, and everything around you. So it's a proposal, okay? And the HoloLens still doesn't have any web way to create 3D content, because the HoloLens has this idea that you can have holograms around you like that, okay? So, but that's native today. It's not the web, but it can be WebShare, okay? So you can see that's a hologram that you can do with the, but today the web is not allowing you to do this. The web is just flat surfaces around the room. So that's something that we need to solve for the near future. So as you can see, we are living like exciting time for the web. Okay, so we have a lot of new APIs that will let you like break the original limits of the web. Okay? And as I promised, I won't have time for questions. So thank you.